Well, we're here at Badminton, and from the outset, I have to say that it is an enormous privilege, having been fortunate enough to go to Epsom, to the Investec Derby and Royal Ascot and several other great race meetings. There's nothing quite like Badminton. It is the most seminal experience that I have ever enjoyed, and we've also had the opportunity of speaking to people like Boyd Martin, to Laura Collette. We've also spoken to William Fox Pitt, who's now lying second overall after the dressage and the cross country. He's been around badminton more times than I've had breakfast. He's got more gold medals and silver medals and Olympic accolades. He is one of the most accomplished eventers in the history of the sport. And this is what he had to say after he managed to finish second behind a very, very accomplished rider in Tim Price. William, thank you very much for the opportunity to chat to you after this historic round, because you've been around here so many times. And
once or twice.
I listened to your press conference interview. Kids are behind you, everybody's behind you. Is it something that you really thought you would be doing at this stage of your career, lying second?
Yeah, really not. Really not. I mean, I don't really know what I'm doing here, to be honest. She's a great mare. Someone young and keen should be riding her, shouldn't they? Not someone that's been around as long as me. And so I feel very lucky to have had the chance to ride her. She's owned by Amanda Gould, and I'm very lucky to have her support. Happy that I've done the mare justice today, because obviously I know she could do the course. She did it last year. She went well in Maryland. She's a good horse. So as you get older, you get a bit more worried about all the things that could go wrong. So I'm very happy that nothing went wrong.
Isn't it extraordinary that she's the only mare that you've ever taken around this course?
It is extraordinary. Now we all say it. I think I've been around here a few times, and yeah, no one has ever given me that mare. So now I've got one. That'll be probably the last horse I ride around Badminton to be a mare, and quite extraordinary.
It's quite interesting, because a lot of guys in South Africa, they love their mares for polo because they're so gutsy, they're so courageous. Is there anything behind that, perhaps?
I think there is. I think, you talk to racing people, you talk to polo people, you talk to show jumpers, and in eventing there are becoming more mares. They do seem to be, remember in a Headley Britannia, one Badminton was Lucinda Fredericks, and that was all very surprising. But then there have been some other mares knocking around, and they do seem to be very sharp and very clever. They're on your side, and I've loved riding mine.
You and Boyd Martin have to be two of the tallest guys that I've ever seen on horseback, and yet there's so much balance, very much like the legendary and incomparable Lester Piggott.
I wish. I'm very lucky. I suppose I've always been tall, so I've just had to deal with it. And my mother always said, just tall, but just got to sit still, just don't move. So I've had a lot of years working on that. And Boyd is a very, he's a very tidy, amazing rider. And I'm very lucky that I've dealt with being tall, and my horses cope with me. And also, we're talking today, we've been going out in quite sticky, heavy conditions in parts. So the horses, they've got to carry me, and I'm quite a lot heavier than someone like Ros Cantor.
She's a midget.
She's got a hell of an advantage on me, and obviously so is Lucy. So I'm very proud of my mare, because she dealt with me, and she made me feel like I was a flyweight.
Obviously I didn't ride today, but I walked the course, and it felt like the track conditions were just about as perfect as you could ever get.
Certainly in the first half, really the ground was good. Really, really good. We go out down the back of the park after the lake, and it does get a bit tacky, a little bit harder work on the horses, a little bit variable, so some wet patches and something dry, but some less wet patches. But it's been old rain, so it's a little bit more gluey. Last year it was recent rain, and it was actually slop and slide and slip on the top. But this year it was a little bit of like galloping on plasticine. And I was surprised actually how well most horses cope. But look, there aren't many Badmintons where no one's inside the time.
Going out there and looking at the size of these jumps, it's actually terrifying. It makes my legs quiver. I don't know how you get around these courses, and how do you wrap your mind around the size of these jumps and the width of these jumps?
Well, I guess I've been doing it for a long time, so I've never known anything different. and I know horses can do it, and I trust myself that I will hopefully not make too much of an error and get a completely hopeless stride. But you got to believe it. I definitely walked the course, and yes, it was big, but we are prepared for that. We're on great horses, certainly my mare Grafennacht. She's an extraordinary horse, and loads of scope, so very lucky indeed.
And if you had to pick one of the three disciplines, would it be that show jumping is the one that can take you to the crown and bring it back to Great Britain?
Oh my goodness, well, it's going to have to be, because I'm not in the front yet, but I'm not sat on the greatest show jumper. I think I can safely say neither is Tim Price, so it could well be Lucy's day.